Hey everyone, it's Miss Smith and I'm back with another video. A lot of you have been asking about how to write the equation of a circle and just kind of wondering how it works. So if you want to see a few examples and get a quick overview, keep watching. Let's do it. So before we write any equations, let's talk about the two parts of the circle, the two pieces of information you need to know beforehand. The first thing you need to know is we need to know the center. The center tells us where on the graph the circle is. And this will be a set of coordinates. Let's call the x coordinate h, and let's call the y coordinate k. The other thing we need to know is we need to know the circle's radius. Remember, the radius is just the distance from the center to the edge of a circle, and that'll be in units. And let's call the radius r. I want to point out that h, k, and r are numbers. We're just calling them h, k, and r because they could be a lot of different things. But in your equation, they will be numbers. So what is that equation? Let's write out the general format. I'm going to color code. I think that's a good habit to be in. X minus h squared equals, plus y minus k squared equals r squared. There we go. So that's our general format for the equation of a circle. Let's look at an example because this is kind of messy. This has a lot going on. There's a lot of letters. It's not immediately clear how this works. So take a look at this circle that I graphed already. Let's first identify its center. Okay, well, it looks like the center is at about here. I think that's at 2, -3, it looks like. Okay, so we have our center, that's h and k. Good. Now we need to figure out what the radius is. Okay, that's the distance from the center to the edge. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 units. Okay, we know the center, we know the radius. This is all the information we need to write this equation. How do we do it? Plug them in. So I'm gonna, again, sorry with the color coding, it's a habit. Okay, so on our circle, h was 2 and k was -3 and r was 4. Okay, as it stands right now, this equation is correct. It is correct. If you were to type that into Desmos or into a graphing calculator, you would get the right circle. But we have like minus a negative. We don't love that. And I know what 4 squared is. So let's rewrite this, but a little more simplified. X minus 2 squared plus y minus -3. Well, that's just the same as y plus 3. And 4 squared, 4 times 4 is 16. Okay. So while both of these are correct, it's this second version that you would see more often because it's the most simplified. So that is the equation of this circle right here. X minus 2 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals 16. It's kind of tough. I think the hardest parts are the positives and negatives happening here. So I think that's a really good example of why writing it all out first without doing any simplifying can be really helpful so that you see all of your information and then go through and deal with these positives and negatives and all of this squaring. So let's try and work backwards. I wrote an equation of a circle. Let's try and figure out where the center and radius were based on that equation. So let's go down here. So I'm going to rewrite the general format just so we remember. X minus h squared, y minus k squared, this is r squared. Okay. So here's my general equation of a circle, and here's a circle that I was just given. Okay, let's try and figure out what the center and radius were here. Okay, x plus 5. Well, the original version is x minus h. So I know that I think h was negative 5, because minus negative 5 would have given me that plus 5. Okay, I think k was 1. And then I'm trying to think, okay, what squared gives me 9? Well, the square root of 9 is 3. So I think that's it. I'm going to plug everything back in and make sure I get what I was given before. Okay, x minus, again with the color coding. It's a good habit to be in, y'all, I promise. Okay, so this is what I thought was correct. I'm going to simplify this and make sure I get what I was given. Okay, so x minus negative 5, that's the same as x plus 5. Y minus 1, and then 3 squared, 3 times 3 is 9. We got it. So that's the equation of a circle. We always need to know the center and the radius. When we know that information, we can plug those numbers into this general formula to get our equation. Make sure you simplify everything, and that might include some squaring and some positive and negative changes. And then from a given equation, we can break it down to figure out what the center and radius were. I hope this was helpful. If you have more questions, send me emails, come to office hours, or just bring more questions to class. Bye, everyone.